somebody stabbed him 73 times. You and Terry maybe had something. I'm not calling you gay. And he threatened to tell your wife.
There's no way in the world I could ever be gay. There's no gayness in me. I'm just a heterosexual.
For 25 years, the man you see in this video, Kenneth Robert Stowe, has been on the run after taking the life of his secret lover, 31-year-old Terrence Paquette. Now, once faced with the evidence of his crimes.
Unfortunately, Terry was brutally murdered. And when I say brutally murdered, like...
Oh my.
Kenneth will slowly begin to break down, because in those 2.5 decades, investigators have uncovered every clue, every lead, and every secret the self-proclaimed heterosexual has tried to hide.
I would say, can we get your DNA? Well, we got your DNA. This looks bad.
Yeah.
This looks bad. This was going to be a typical day for you, and your shit just got spinned around today. Do you want us to piece this together for you?
On February 3rd, 1996 in Orlando, Florida, 31-year-old Terrence Paquette arrived at the Little Champ food store to prepare for its 6 a.m. opening. But when two men from an armored car company arrived to pick up the nightly deposit, they found the door locked and lights off. Police were soon called and a coworker arrived with a key, and that's when they made their gruesome discovery. Terrence's lifeless body on the bathroom floor. He'd been stabbed dozens of times. Terrence grew up in New England and moved to Orlando a few years earlier and had a growing circle of friends. He worked 60 hours a week and was well liked by customers. But with no witnesses and little physical evidence to go on, investigators quickly exhausted all leads. And as the years went by, it seemed like whoever was responsible for Terrence's death might just get away with it. The case was re-examined in 2003 when a DNA profile was developed from blood found at the scene. A suspect was never identified, and the case once again went cold. But in 2019, advanced DNA testing came up with a match: 54-year-old Kenneth Robert Stowe. His DNA was linked to beer cans found outside his home, and he was picked up at a Wells Fargo bank on November 2nd, 2021. Police told him he was wanted for questioning for a financial crime, but he soon found himself being asked about far more serious topics. The following footage was provided by the Orange County Sheriff's Department.
Hey, Mr. Stowe.
What's up?
How's it going, bro? I'm gonna take this stuff. Yeah.
Pronounce my name right.
It's Stowe?
Nobody.
Oh, okay.
Stowe.
I'm Savelli, so Savelli.
Oh, okay.
You good?
Is the first name Kenny?
Kenneth?
Ken.
I'm Ryan. This is Dave, my partner. This is what I want to do, man. I want to sit down and talk to you. Obviously, this is coming a bit surprise at the bank there. So I just want to start. I want to get some very basic biographical information. Okay. Obviously, I already knew your name at all. Just for the record, what's your first name?
Kenneth.
Okay.
Kenneth Robert Stowe.
Stowe. And your birthday?
7/18/67.
And where do you live?
Apartment 8.
And who do you live there with anybody?
Her name's Emily.
Emily.
Yeah. Emily.
Wife?
Girlfriend.
Girlfriend. Long time? Short time?
Been there with her about 8 years.
Kids?
I have kids that are grown, but through my divorce.
Okay.
Yeah, they're.
Okay, but no kids with Emily.
No.
Okay, and it's just the two of you guys living there?
No, there's her grandson. Let me see. Her grandson, great grandson, and one of her best friends. Her name's Betty. She's like 76 years old.
Oh shit. Okay. Is it a big house?
Yeah, it's 2-story house.
Oh. Okay.
It's right there on Grove and Woodward.
By the police department?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You heard that right. This man, who's suspected of committing a grisly murder 25 years ago, lives right next to a police station. But it wasn't exactly a happy home, because after talking to Ken's girlfriend, investigators learned some interesting facts. Despite being together 8 years, the couple were no longer intimate, and sometimes barely on speaking terms. But when the detectives asked Ken about his work history, it turns out he's done a little bit of everything, and one particular job they didn't expect to hear about.
So before you were a foreman, just let's go through work history. Where did you work before?
I was a truck driver before right before Romac. I was a manager at Perkins in Mount Clever. I did that for about 4.5 years.
The one kind of by like Froggers and stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
right beside in front of Walmart.
Okay.
So I was manager there assistant manager for about 4 years there. Before that, I worked at a bakery in Orlando. That's where I grew up. And
Oh, you're not from Lake County?
No, sir.
Where'd you grow
I've
up?
been here 8 years, Orange County.
Okay.
And then before that, I was a supervisor at Walmart, and before that, I was a truck driver for 22 years.
Oh, no shit. Like over the night?
Yes.
And then you spoke of a divorce.
Yeah.
Were you married once, or you're not married to Emily,
No.
but you were married?
Yeah.
Who
That
was
was-
your ex-wife?
Wanda,
Okay. How long you guys been divorced?
16 years.
Oh shit. Okay. You talked to her?
No.
So here's where we're at today, man. Obviously, a lot of stuff, oftentimes when the police talk to people, some things can be a huge misunderstanding. And we just have to kind of take you step by step. And if shit is not what I think it is, then we'll get you back to work. So what I want to do is I want to take you back a handful of years. I guess living in Lockhart. You ever remember living off Cinder Lane?
Yes, sir.
How long did you live there?
We were in the transition of getting a house in Deltona, so about 3 years.
When you say we, are you talking about with your
My ex and my kids. Yeah.
So they all lived with you there.
Yeah.
And so back then, when you were working for them, where would you go to get your morning coffee? Where would you go to get? I don't know. Do you drink beer?
Yeah.
Where would you go to get your beer at the end of a shift?
When I lived where?
On Cinder Lane. Is there any
oh
place in particular?
yeah, Circle K.
Okay.
Back then it was Little Champ and 7-Eleven. All three of them about the
Okay.
same distance from my.
Where's the Circle K at?
It's off of 441.
441.
Yeah, I know that.
You're talking about
441 and where?
Laconia.
Clear Court. Yep.
And then there's the 7-Eleven's on OBT just south, kind of where Cinder Lane Parkway is.
Where the Cablevision company
Yeah,
was.
there was a Pizza Hut back there back in the day. And then Little Champ's right down the street.
Yeah, that's on Terracona, and that was used to be Albertsons over there.
Okay. And is this kind of look like the Little Champ back then in the day?
Yeah.
Kind of the same one. It's like
Yeah.
long road.
I worked there.
You worked there.
Yeah, I worked at that one.
The one over in Wekiva.
What years were that?
I can tell you, I always worked them as part-time jobs.
Like you were a clerk?
Yeah, because I worked at Conan Farms. I worked at different 7-Elevens. Usually I just always did them at night jobs.
Okay.
My mom was a manager at the Little Champ.
At this Little Champ?
No, I don't think it's that one. The one where Rose Avenue on the corner, and that was McDonald's beside it.
Yeah.
It's not Little Champ.
It's like Orlando paintball now. The
Yeah,
paintball place
it's right down the street.
Investigators are surprised to learn that Ken claims to have worked at the exact same convenience store Terrence was killed in. Somehow, that didn't come up in their research. But as far as his divorce is concerned, investigators know much more than they let on. And despite Ken's claims that it was an amicable split, he soon finds himself scrambling to come up with even more lies.
What year did you get divorced?
I want to say
So it was 16 years ago.
at least 16.
So 05-ish?
Yeah, something
How
like
long were you married?
that. 22 years. We got married right out of high school.
Oh, shit.
Wow, okay.
What happened with the divorce? Why'd you guys get divorced? No, I'm just being nosy now.
So,
No, it just she said I worked too much.
well,
I mean, she's never home. I got to do everything.
was there,
by
were you
myself.
having financial issues or something? Is that why you had to take extra
Up and
time?
down sometimes.
Investigators have one question. If the divorce was only because Ken worked too much, why do his kids no longer speak to him? Because as we'll soon find out, he has a rocky relationship with every one of his children, and there's a very good reason why. Ken was arrested for domestic battery in 2006 when he tried to physically stop his ex-wife from leaving him.
Like I said, he's angry. He thinks
What did they say is the cause for the divorce?
I haven't talked to him. 'Cause I showed him that when everything happened, your mom lied. I mean, basically she lied, tried to get me arrested so she had control of the house.
Domestic violence issues?
Yeah, I mean, but
What did she
lied.
say?
She said I was trying to keep her from leaving. I said no. And it was just the way that everything happened. Even because I had a defense attorney at the time, but we were still separated. Even the defense, because I showed her, okay, if you had something so dramatic in that night, she wrote one report. Then she turned around and wrote another report. I guess the one for the courts the next day was for the Volusia County Police. They're totally different, and they've seen that. And I told my son, and he got mad, but I was like, your mom's going to get arrested. She's going to have to go on court and lie about this. She wrote 2 different reports. And I didn't want my daughter to have to go to judge. Even my daughter told me, Dad, I know Mom like, she promised me a cell phone. She promised me all of this stuff. Because she told the police officer that night, yeah, I'm in fear of my life for my dad. I never hit my kid. I spanked both of them one time in their life. And my son, the reason I spanked him is because he kicked his little sister. So, I mean, and my daughter, she got spanked one time on her leg because she called her mama when she was like 12 years old.
Ken is starting to get a little restless. All these questions about his past are making him suspicious that this is about more than just a potential case of fraud. Investigators now move into phase 2 of the interrogation, confronting Ken about Terrence's death and why his DNA was found at the scene.
Has this person did you ever work with this guy? His name is, his government name is Terry, or Terrence, but he goes by Terry.
He looks familiar.
I mean, there's so many people that go through those jobs, right? And kind of like I explained to you earlier, like this whole thing could be a huge misunderstanding. But the times you worked at this Circle K, do you ever remember getting hurt?
At Circle K?
Yeah, or a Little Champ. You ever
Just cuts and stuff like that with, box cutters, nothing major.
Terry, I'm going to call him Terry. His real name is Terrence. He was brutally murdered. And when I say brutally murdered, like...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, that's crazy, right? And so nowadays, I mean, everything with crime is on TV. You can't turn the TV off.
I watch crime TV.
I mean, I do the same thing. I find myself at home falling asleep to Forensic Files sometimes because but when I say this guy was...
I knew somebody.
But here's the problem, because I know this is the first time you see me, but I've kind of been up in your shit for the past couple months. So the other, about a month ago, we got your DNA from, you like Budweiser. You drink Bud, don't you?
Yes, sir.
And you like to go the Sicko.
Yes, sir.
And so we got your beer. And so this is what we need to explain, because now we have a homicide where Terry stabbed 73 times.
Terrence hadn't only been stabbed, he'd been stabbed 73 times, and the bloody evidence of the brutal crime was found all over the store. But not all of the blood tested came back as belonging to Terrence. Using research from a genealogy website, investigators traced it back to one of Ken's close relatives, and the pieces fell into place from there. But despite this irrefutable evidence, Ken will do anything he can to squirm his way out of finally facing justice.
So, something happened with Terry and you. I don't know if you got into
I've never.
Look at this. Listen to this. You ever watch Jerry Springer shows and they do a paternity test? And
Yeah, I understand.
And they say-
I watch DNA shows and everything, but so somebody to say I'm responsible for something like that? No.
And let me tell you about Terry. We got to go back. We can't be talking about 2021 right now, because would you agree times are different in 2021 than they were in 96? However you want to look at it. Terry was gay.
I'm just trying to.
I'm just trying to give you kind of a background. Terry was the store manager at Little Champ, and he was gay, openly gay.
Okay.
Not a big deal today,
Right.
right? It's not uncommon to work with or associate with somebody that's gay. 96 a little bit different. Would you agree that times were different? It wasn't as widely accepted as it is today.
I used to have gay friends before, huh?
Even in 96?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, not that early, but
Okay.
I mean, when I worked for Papa John, the guy I drove with was.
And you guys got along just fine? Did you have any problems or ill will towards him because he was gay in 96?
No.
And if you did, that's okay.
Boyfriend, my
Okay.
manager, Scott. We used to go to the Hard Rock Cafe and drink, and he was actually in a married relationship.
Okay.
So yeah.
So my question, I guess I got to get kind of personal now, because now you look at this from me, where you see Terry is gay and somebody stabbed him 73 times. Not only stabbed him 73 times,
Wow.
but slit his throat. So you watch these crime shows. What would you think if somebody had the?
I understand.
So it's personal. Would you agree?
I had somebody that was angry.
Have you ever been attracted, or have you ever been with a guy?
No, sir.
So that's my next question. Is this possible that Terry made you feel uncomfortable, came on to you one morning?
No. I would call going there. I go out there a lot. Just like
Did he ever?
No. No.
Did you know Terry?
I'd be mad at somebody to do something like that. That's freaking wacko right there.
Did you know Terry?
I can't say like my own person. I was like, hey, how you doing? I played my lottery there. I got my
But did you know Terry? Now that I say the name.
I didn't know him.
And so looking at the
Just
picture,
in the store. I never worked. I never worked with him.
I don't want to put words in your
Okay.
mouth. So when I showed you that picture of him, I said, you know him. You said he looks familiar. Now thinking back, did you know the person there as Terry?
I can't recall. I really can't.
Okay, so when I say you know him, I don't want you to think that I'm insinuating that you knew this guy.
His picture that don't look familiar. But
And here's the other thing. There's money missing from this safe here. So when does this safe look familiar? You see the safe here?
they basically they all saying that I couldn't tell you not that long ago.
Do you know that if somebody was opening in their opening routine in the morning, that there would probably be money in there from the overnight clerk that had put money in the
I
safe?
know there used to be cameras in there.
Okay. All right. And so that's where I'm getting at. I'm not.
Oh yeah.
We got to be cameras. Yeah. So I'm trying to go little by little. So this is not really a question if you were there, because now you know that there's cameras and stuff. It's not a question of where you were there, because we have all this evidence. It's a matter of what happened and trying to explain this.
I didn't do that.
And so what I don't want, because oftentimes you're a dad, right? You say you still contact your daughter. It's just going back to dealing with kids. If your daughter came home from school and something happened at school, and she told you what happened, she might get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But if she lied to you,
she get in more trouble.
she get in more trouble. Because in our society, there's always what someone does can be explained.
Yeah.
It can be explained. Hard times, bankruptcy, whatever. Everything can be explained. But what nothing can be explained is when you lie and you try to cover up. Because what we want to leave here. And just like if you didn't do this, we got to prove that Kenneth Stout did not do this. And I'll do that for you. I will, but I need to know how to do that.
I did not. There's no way.
So
The investigators have made it clear that they have Ken in their crosshairs and are giving him every chance to fess up to his crimes. But even though Terrence's safe key had been stolen and $4,000 was missing from inside, was it a simple diversion for a murder so brutal that it was clearly personal?
People do this for one of two reasons. Actually, one of three reasons. And it hasn't changed since the beginning of time.
Amanda are sick.
Huh? No.
Sick.
Women, money, and rage are just about the three oldest motives for something like this. Money, women, and rage, right? So obviously you were married to Wanda.
Yeah.
And see, we asked all these questions. I knew you were married to Wanda. I know you haven't spoke to Amanda and your son and all that stuff. See, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to just figure out why this happened. It's not, I don't want you to think I'm being rude or condescending, because I'm not. I'm not asking you if you did this.
No, you saying I did it. I know for a fact I don't have that much anger, madness.
And that's what I want to get at.
I don't have that in me though.
But
I can't even go out hunting with nobody because I can't shoot a freaking animal.
I know, but that's what I want to get at. And that's where rage comes in, where somebody violates you, or they do
So I'm
something.
not homophobic.
I never said you were.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like, I don't understand why I wouldn't have no rage towards nobody, not to hurt somebody. there's nothing
Well,
that
that's,
can make
is
me.
it, and I don't know, and I hate to get into the personal stuff, because
That's
couldn't imagine sitting here.
This is
But what
really personal now.
Yeah, it's very-
I might be going to prison, jail.
It's very personal, and that's what I was asking. Is I didn't know if maybe you did know Terry, maybe you did come in for a cup of coffee, and maybe he did come on to you, or I don't know, or maybe something happened and you were young and it was 25 years ago.
I never knew him as his name. I knew him, and that's why other folks would look familiar.
So when you say him, are you saying that?
I can't remember his
Can
name.
you identify him off of that picture I showed you?
The other picture, that looks.
So Brian and I, between the two of us, we've been doing this job for over 50 years. I've been doing this 32 years myself, and Brian's been doing it for close to 20. So you're looking at, we've heard every single story. I started this job in 1989. That's how long I've been doing this job. This homicide occurred when I had been in a job for 7 years.
What year?
So
What was it?
1996.
February 3rd, 1996. It was a Saturday.
In the morning, when Terry was opening the store, before opening, so he had to either let you in the store early, or he had inadvertently left it unlocked, and you went in the store. But if you knew him and you knock on the door, he probably would have let you in. And that makes perfect sense because if you know the guy and he sees you, because we're racking our head. We know the who, which is you and Terry. We know the where. We know the when. And we know the how, kind of. But and we think we know the why. It's $4,000 missing. You're in financial trouble.
I always had money though.
Why'd you declare bankruptcy?
Well, that was before that happened. I had good jobs though.
You always
Class A CDL. I always worked.
Ken dismisses money as a motive for his alleged crime, saying he has always worked good jobs. Considering he was forced to file bankruptcy just 2 years before the murder, and once again in 2004, it's clear he wasn't great at handling money. But if money or women weren't the motive, then that only leaves one option.
But so that leads us into the next question. If it can't be money, it can't be women because you're married, then it's rage. And so let's look at this picture again. You said, now we're looking at this picture.
I said he looked familiar. I'm trying to think back then.
And you got to think this, if we look at this, this was issued in 91, so he's probably a few years older, right? But do you ever recall going in and having coffee in the morning at that little chip?
Coffee, beer at night.
When you got coffee in the morning, would you sit and socialize with the guy or play scratch offs?
I'd play scratch offs.
You would?
Talk to him. You've been lucky. You haven't been lucky. I'd come back.
Would it be before the store opened? Meaning he was in his morning routine. The store was locked to the general public, but he knew you as a regular and you'd come in.
No, I just knew the store didn't open until a certain time.
Do you remember what time it opened at?
I want to say 8 in that area, 7, 8.
Because this happened between like 7:09 and like 6:52, and I'm estimating here because we know what time the alarm was deactivated.
No, I'm sorry, it's 5:40.
5:40. Yeah, you're right. It was very early in the morning, Kenneth.
The store.
The only time I ever went in any of the stores early when I had keys to go to the stores. Sometimes I opened that store. Sometimes I opened the Clear store. Sometimes the
So you may have had a key to that store.
No, you get a key from that store to lock it, then you have to turn it in. Either you deposit it with your account because the store manager always had a key. I never kept a key.
So I'm really.
And I don't remember, I didn't work with him.
Well, we know you were there that morning.
I don't know.
That doesn't make sense. You're going to have to try and explain that to 12 people.
When you look at this,
just trying to explain it to you guys right now.
Yeah, but this is what I want you to do. I want you to put your head where my head's at right here, okay? And
well, you've been studying this. I've
been studying this. You know what? You are not wrong, my friend.
Is there any way I can get my nerves are like?
Yeah, we'll get you one. But what I want you to do is I want you to look at this. You can't do this to somebody.
I can't do that.
Because you gotta, no, I didn't say that.
I can't do that.
But when you say this water bottle is a knife, when you do this to somebody, you know what you're hitting? You're hitting bone and you're sweating profusely, so the handle of that knife becomes a little slippery. And sometimes your hand slides down. Are you right or left-handed?
Right.
That's perfect, because if you see where all these injuries are, they are all on the right side. Typically, when you're standing over somebody, right, or his left, there will be opposite side, right? So that's why you see them over on the right, because most people are stronger on their right. What I'm saying is your hand slips down and you inadvertently do this. So would you agree that if you did this to someone, whoever did this would probably have Terry's blood on him? Would you agree?
No.
Look at that. Probably has Terry's blood on him. This looks bad.
Yeah.
This looks bad.
I mean, I didn't have my surgery until on both hands for.
When did you have surgery?
Huh?
When did you have surgery?
Probably almost the same here.
This looks bad.
Yeah, but it's on my hands.
This right here, what happened to Terry, looks bad.
No,
I can't imagine sitting in your seat. It looks horrible, but it can be explained. And most people sitting in your seat, right, regardless of how hard it is, to be honest, it's very, very important. Very important, okay? Because there's a difference in somebody that grew up since they were 15, and they said, you know what? I just want to kill somebody. Right? No. Just hear me out. But there's a difference. There's a difference between somebody that is that young and it's in their mind their whole life, and they're just going around. That person's a monster. They wanted to do this, and they thought about it, and then finally they say, I'm going to kill that person, and then they go through the whole process of premeditating this, and they stalk them out, and they do it, and then finally they kill them one day. That's a monster, somebody that's thought about this. Versus somebody that did this, one, because they had a kid on the way, in and out of jobs.
My daughter was...
Just hear me out.
Okay.
That did this in a fit of rage, that never had these thoughts, or maybe something just happened. But it's important that you're honest with us, because it may not seem like it's important now, and it may be very hard for you to do. But I promise
If I
you,
could explain
I
anything,
promise,
I would. I just...
there's only one way to
You're
explain
telling-
it.
You're telling... I can't... I'm in shock. I'm in shock. I just know...
You're shocked because you're here right now, because for 25 years, you've never been in front of a detective asking
Well,
about your blood.
I've never committed a crime like this.
But
I
how do
got a
you-
DUI and...
In a semi-truck.
Huh?
In a semi-truck, right?
Yeah, because I was living there.
You get disorderly conduct at Pleasure Island.
Oh, I see.
Well, that was, that somebody else was trying to fight me.
So you see,
Okay.
well, we've done our homework.
I know.
Despite Ken claiming not to have a criminal record, he's confronted on 2 separate arrests for DUI and disorderly conduct. And with their suspects back up against the wall, the investigators take a more aggressive tactic and slowly go in for the kill.
Brian and I have been back to the store. Obviously, Terry is working. He's open. It's like 5:44 in the morning. He's running his reports. You remember running the reports on the cash registers and all that stuff?
Yeah.
So he's up there.
I normally didn't open,
And
but
he would
yeah.
leave his keys hanging from the lock because he had to let delivery people in. And it was easier because it was a key on either side, right? So the newspaper person would come by, the chip delivery, whatever, he'd unlock it. Well, here comes the murderer knocking on the door. Well, either the murderer had a key. Terry had to let that person in the store because he knew that person because the store wasn't open. So he lets the person he knows in the store.
Like I said, I never worked there when he worked there. That time.
You just said it.
Can you just wear that cross around your neck? Or do you live by it? Is it something that you just wear?
I used to go to my church.
You go to church?
My mom used to be a pastor.
And what did you learn all those years growing up in church?
Christ is my Savior. And I trust me. I just don't
Don't you think it's important
I just don't live the life.
Well, and I don't think anybody truly does that walks this earth. I don't care how vested you are in the church.
Try, but
Everybody tries,
Yeah.
right? But obviously, if you know anything about religion, everybody can be saved, can be born again, right? But it starts with being true and being honest.
I know.
And so-
God is my witness.
Yeah.
There's no way.
But there is a way.
I want to do that.
There is a way.
There's no way I can do that.
Did you come in the store? Did you find him being attacked? There's no doubt that you were in the store that morning. You were in the store that morning, right?
And that morning, though,
How can you say that?
I wasn't there.
Dave brings up a good point. Did you find Terry like this and freak out? Take his keys, check for a pulse, get his DNA on? Hear me out because it's very plausible. Terry, oh my God, are you okay? And then all of a sudden you touch him and you get a pulse. And now you take his keys because you're freaking out, because now what's going to happen is the cops are going to come and they're going to look at you like, oh, Kenneth, this is murder. Then you lock up and take his keys. And is that possible?
No.
Because that didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Investigators confront Ken with the irrefutable proof that he was at the scene that day. They try using his religion to compel him to confess, and even provide him with an alternative theory as to what happened. But he continues to deny any involvement in the murder.
Like I said, I knew about the robbery, but seeing that,
Dave and I have the wrong person.
definitely.
We have to go back from square one.
The wrong person. I didn't kill nobody.
Do you swear to God that that's the truth?
God, I didn't kill
Can you raise your right hand? You swear? Can you raise your right hand? You swear to
I
God?
swear to God, I didn't kill nobody. I was there, like I said, Thursday or Friday, probably. I'm just trying to.
You don't know when you worked there, Ken.
I know as far as a customer. I mean,
But
before that happened, I already.
you remember you were living in Volusia. You told me you remember when this happened. You were living in
But
Volusia
I
County.
visit my mom almost every day.
In the morning.
My mom.
In the morning time.
Different times. All the time.
5 in the morning. 6 in the morning.
Never.
That's when this happened.
I didn't come that early in the morning. I'd have been there the night before. I can't.
So you get inside the store. Either you know that Terry has all the money out. The $4,000 is gone. We talked to the clerk who worked the night before. He said, "Yeah, I remember putting it in there. Now it's gone." You kill Terry inside the bathroom. Then you come out, and people are starting to come. Customers, there's a guy waiting for a ride. And you remember that freezer is right across from the bathroom, right? You've been in the store, you worked in there. So you come out until somebody's gone. And then you haul the door, you grab what you can behind the counter, you take Terry's keys that are hanging, and you're familiar with this operation, and you're able to deadbolt it and haul it to your car, your truck, your bike, and go back to your home. And I really think that you live on Cinder Lane in 96, not in Deltona. And we're going to talk to Wanda today or tomorrow and iron out these timelines. That's one thing we have not done because we're not sure what your relationship with her. Now the cat's out of the bag, so we're going to talk to her and iron out these timelines. So is that right? That makes sense,
Here's
right?
the problem. Do you see what he's doing? You see what he's doing right now? He's piecing things together with the evidence. I understand. But here's the thing. That's what we're forced to do. And I can listen. Whether you want to tell me, listen, Ken. Either you want to tell me what happened or you don't.
I want to stab nobody. I want to never kill.
I know you didn't want to do this, but it happened.
No.
But I can tell just by looking at you. One, I think, honestly, I don't think you're a monster. I think you actually feel very bad, and I think you feel very horrible, and I think this is a very uncomfortable situation for you to be in right now. I truly do. I can read it all on you. I can feel it off of you. I feel that you really.
I would never
this is
do
what.
something like that.
But this is what's happening in your current day. You have to think. We got to go back 25 years. Where you're at right now, and I speak to people just like you in the same situation, and you're conflicted right now. You don't know what the hell to do. You just got pulled in from going to the bank, from working, and it was going to be another day. You were going to go hit the sicko. You were going to buy some scratchers, play your numbers, get some beer, and go home. Maybe you were going to go clean the business that you typically clean. This was going to be a typical day for you, and your shit just got spinned around today, and you're conflicted right now because you don't know me, and you don't know Dave, and you don't know if we're blowing smoke up your. And you're like, you know what? I really want to tell these guys.
Sure, you know.
25 years could put themselves, because we've all done things in our past. And you know what?
I would never kill.
But that's
nobody.
okay. I don't stop saying kill. That's okay, because you know what? We just have been lucky enough that we didn't get caught. Okay? Everybody in this room, whoever didn't get caught, me and Dave, we're just better liars than you. Okay? Because we're all human. We all sin. We all do shit in our past. And it just hasn't caught up to us. But you know what's weird is me looking back when I was like 15, 16. There's stuff I would have done back when I was 16 that I wouldn't do now. Now I look back when I was 20s or 30s. There's stuff I would have done back then that I wouldn't do now, because it's called maturity. As you get older, there's just some shit you do that you wouldn't do now that you would do 25 years ago. Right? You get older, you get wiser. Yeah. Just like you got divorced. I've been divorced. Right? There's shit that if I get married again, I won't do again. So, it's just called life. It's called maturity. So you keep saying I wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it now because what are you, 54? 54, right? 54-year-old Kenneth Stowe wouldn't do this. But 31-year-old, because you were 31 at the time, 31-year-old Kenneth Stowe did. And that's what we got to get past. Yes, you wouldn't do it now. Yes, you regret this. Yes, you're sorry. I can see it on your face, and I feel horrible for you. It's a bad situation. But 54-year-old Kenneth Stowe wouldn't do this, but 31-year-old would have. And that's what we need to know why. I personally, my opinion, this is me just putting the evidence together, that just like he floated one, I'm going to float one. I think Kenneth came on to you. I think maybe possibly you and Kenneth, you and Terry maybe had something. I'm not calling you gay. And he threatened to tell your wife. And how would that look back in 1996? That's my opinion. I don't know. Nobody knows but you, and that's what we're here to do.
I've never.
See,
I've never been.
Do you want us to piece this together for you? This is your story, bro. You don't want us to piece this together for you, because he's going to say one thing, I'm going to say another, and then the prosecutor's going to say one thing, and then you got 12 jury members, and they're going to say their own. The only person that can tell us why, how, and how remorseful you are is you. And that's what's important, is the remorse.
Never chance to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, we'll get you back. Of course. I know you've been chugging those waters like crazy. But this
I just got dry throat because
you need that bottle of water?
Yeah, no,
okay,
I gotta go bathroom first. I gotta pee.
Okay. But that's where we're at, man.
I can't hold my poop. So
yeah. Okay, we'll get you a bathroom.
Considering the pressure piling up against him, it's understandable why Ken would need a bathroom break. Investigators have thrown multiple motives for the crime his way, and it's possible at least one has stuck. But that doesn't mean he's anywhere close to confessing.
I really, really don't want to think that you've ever done this before. But obviously, clearly, we know you did this, and we need to get past whether you did or not, and what anyone else is going to think, and what Emily's going to think. You know, we really need to get.
Well,
past
she know.
Well, we need to get past that, because we need to talk about the remorse. Because, like I said, there's two things, man. There's a difference when somebody is apologetic and sorry and remorseful, and then there's just like this person over here that is like, oh, you can have video, DNA, and witness testimony that saw me do it, but I didn't do it. Right? So that's what we do. We deal with that a lot.
No matter what, I'm going to jail.
Why do you say that? Why do you say
I
that?
like to make a phone call. I like to call Teal. Let her
Who's
know
Teal?
what's going on. Emily.
Oh, you call her Teal. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna go talk to her as well. So I mean, like I said, the cat's out of the bag now, so we're gonna talk to everybody. But the thing is, like, you know, you say you wouldn't do it, but you know, you watch those crime shows, right?
I see it.
You see the
I
people that are
feel
like,
so bad
remember
for
that-
the people that go and you get out of prison so many years later because, you know.
Well, usually they're exonerated by DNA.
Well,
Remember that BTK killer? Remember that guy that was in Kansas and was killing all those people, and he was married, had a family, was like a scout leader involved in his church and all that stuff. It's the same thing. Like I mean, I don't think you're a serial killer. Once your DNA goes in the system.
So, like I said, I go back to Orange County today, and I said, man, no, he didn't do it, man. He said he didn't do it.
I don't have the feeling that you're going to do that. You're going to take it.
But you have to put yourself in my shoes.
Yeah.
You keep saying that no matter what, I'm going to jail. And that's because I think subconsciously you know. Like I said, man, and I want you to, I really wish that you would just be real. And like I said, like everybody else.
I know you guys are trying to talk.
Because you seem like a good dude.
I didn't do that.
We're not trying to get you to confess. We're getting you to
No, I
just tell
understand
the
that.
truth.
I mean, you guys are just
Like,
doing
we
your
wanna know-
job. You have what
Because
you feel that, okay, you're trying to put stuff together.
No. What we're really trying to do is we're trying to put you at ease. That's what we're, because you seem.
I'm not at ease.
You're not at ease. But
I'm
when people speak to detectives, they're very uncomfortable. And so what people often do is they say, you know what, this is horrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is horrible. This is very bad. And
very bad.
but it can be explained. And people on the outside looking in sometimes are like, oh man, that's crazy. But then when you dumb it down and when you go to the very beginning stages of how this happened, oftentimes it can be explained. And a lot of times people then say, you know what, I can put myself in their shoes. Doesn't mean I would do the same thing, but I can sympathize and I can understand and I can grasp why they did what they did.
Okay.
But the problem is, until we get the real reason, we don't know. It's not like you just, like I said, went out there and you said, you know what, I'm going to pick one person and I'm going to kill them today. No, this was specific. It was targeted. There's a reason why, whether you want to sit here and be real with me or not, there's a reason why
I'm
this
trying to
happened.
be as real as I can with this information you're trying to.
I know, it's
tell me.
crazy.
It
It's
is
crazy.
It's crazy. Oh yeah.
A ton. Throat slit.
I see that. I see. That's horrible.
You know how many of these are deadly? Not all of them. In fact, there's more on here that are not deadly, that are deadly. That's just how it is, because I could stab you all in your legs, and granted, I don't hit your femoral artery or something significant blood supply. You can survive superficial knife wounds. Is it possible that he threatened you and you just stabbed him once and then you just lost it? Because that's a difference too, Kenneth. That's a difference between if he threatened you. Maybe he thought you had money because you're a hardworking guy. Maybe you had a watch on. And I'm not saying that there's the possibility that he threatened you that day and you just stabbed him one time and then he died and went unconscious and you said, and you just took their.
No matter what somebody done, unless they killed one of my kids or somebody else.
I understand that, but
would I do something like that? A person I can run away or fight myself out of it, but like that, no.
All right.
I want to have that much rage to.
But you never know till you're
I
there.
have some self control to where I wouldn't hurt nobody like that.
Everybody says that until they get cut off in traffic, and then you're pulling the window down, throwing a finger up because you're just so caught in that moment, and shit
I can
happens.
turn the cheek real easy.
You know, now.
The interrogation continues after Ken gets his nicotine fix, and investigators offer up even more possible motives. He shoots them down one by one, and it becomes clear to detectives that despite the overwhelming amount of physical evidence against him, their suspect won't budge.
But in fact, what I sense what's going to happen is you're gonna tell us not the truth. You're going to tell us that I didn't do this, and that's where you're going to die on that hill. And then what's going to happen is then now you're going to force Emily to work extra. She's going to have to get 3 jobs because this is a significant investigation. And then everything is about money versus somebody that is just like, you know what? I've lived a selfless life my whole life. I'm going to continue to do that. I'm remorseful. I'm sorry. I'm a decent guy. And I'm not going to drag my family down with me for this. That's a good dude. Regardless of what they did 25 years ago, that's a solid guy. And that's a solid guy. That's the kind of guy that lives the life that he's preached his whole life. I got all day, bro. I got nothing better to do but this today.
I mean,
but what I'm saying is, are you going to do that?
There's nothing I can't confess to something I didn't do.
I don't want you to do that.
I know, and you keep saying that, but you guys already are convinced that this has happened.
What should happen to the person that did this?
Go to prison the rest of their life.
No second chances? Not even
for that?
Yeah, not even if it can be explained?
No.
Not even if it can be explained? Like, she gets real sometimes. If it was a knockout, drag-out fight, if this guy was trying to steal a can of dip and Terry tried to stop him and he punched him and then all of a sudden you just went off the handle?
I don't have that rage in me. I could never hurt nobody like that. It's not.
Did you discover him and he was murdered and you checked for his pulse? Did you do that?
I didn't
Did you
know.
do that?
I didn't know he did that.
Did you find him murdered? I'm trying to do is
I understand what you're
did you
trying
find
to
him
do.
like this on February 3rd? And did you check for his pulse? And did you just see the cash behind? That's different. We could explain that. Maybe you just took the $1,000 that was sitting there.
I didn't. I wanted.
So you didn't find him murdered?
No.
I want to make sure. Let me ask you this. Did you find him murdered on February 3rd? Yes or no?
I've never found nobody murdered
in your life.
In my life.
Did he hit you and you try to defend yourself? Because we're dealing with somebody that's gay and that's very uncomfortable even in today's world for somebody that may have never even talked about it in their whole entire life. Okay. It's very uncomfortable.
4 years ago when I worked at Perkins, okay, so to take the gay thing out of it, so I worked with Scott. He died of a heart attack, but everybody knows we used to go out. Okay, when he took come pick me up in his Corvette, we'd go to Hard Rock. We were cool. He had a partner that works at Disney. Everybody knew how me and Scott were cool. John, he'd sleep in the bunk. We went to Georgia. We did deliveries. He was openly gay. We went to his house. He had, he was a gay guy, and his partner was the girlish kind of guy. So, I mean, I'm just telling you, I have had relationships with gay guys, and he's like, man, I don't have many heterosexual friends. That's what Scott used to tell me. I said, that's cool. Hey, you just know how I am. I know how you are. So it's like, it's cool. You can have your thing.
But I guess I got to go there now. Have you ever crossed the line with a guy?
I've never
Have you ever kissed a guy?
No.
Has anyone ever tried to do that on you where it made you uncomfortable? Put you in that?
I've always made yourself. Your preferences. That's on you.
Okay.
But
so were you like that in '96? Were you as cool with gay people in '97 as you are today?
As long as they didn't do anything with me.
That's why I'm asking. Did Terry know that you were like that and cool? And did he come on to you
like that? Like I said, I don't really recognize him by. I mean, he looked a little familiar, maybe, but I mean, we didn't have it. It wouldn't be like I knocked on the door and he would let me in. We didn't have that relationship. I go there.
You're very comfortable in referencing he and him and we. So it's almost weird to me that you don't want to say that you knew Terry, but you're acting like you do in the way you answer these questions. You keep saying we, he.
It's like.
So you did know him.
Sammy worked. Not where.
Did you know him to call him Terry?
No.
What'd you call him?
While Ken claims to have had gay friends before it was cool, he seems reluctant to admit to any sort of relationship with Terrence. But detectives continue to press him on the idea that something may have happened between them, and it ended in a particularly personal murder.
Did Terry ever cross the line with you when you were in the store? Come on to you, grab you, try to kiss you?
So I didn't know his name.
Did you do something?
I could have walked away from anybody coming, trying to do something like this to me.
But it's 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. maybe
I
you seem kind
I've
of.
never seen anybody in that store because if I was passing by or wherever I was going, I know it was Circle K and 7-Eleven would be open.
You seem like a friendly dude. You seem like somebody that's social, that people may not be friends with you, but when they first meet you, they kind of shoot the shit with. Because you seem like a personable guy. I don't know you outside of this setting, but that's what it appears to me. So what I'm saying is, if Terry took that the wrong way, and he knew you from coming in, making deliveries, and you're shooting the shit with him, and he came on to you, that's important.
Yeah, I just
That's
don't know
important.
if I made
But did that happen?
No.
But did that happen?
No.
And there's nothing to be embarrassed about or ashamed of.
I wouldn't be embarrassed about it. I mean, I can't help somebody, if they're gay, then they're gay.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you took him up on something and went too far, you're like, fuck.
I can't.
married.
There's no way in the world I could ever be gay. There's just nothing. There's no gayness in me. I'm just a heterosexual.
It's almost everybody. That's it. Probably everybody we speak to. If we show the crime scene photos, like, oh man, this is deeply personal. This is somebody who really, and that's kind of the classic, what we call like an overkill.
I've seen it.
Where it'd be like, you don't need to stab somebody 73 times.
That's why I know damn well. There's no way I could do that.
But you're a different person now, man. You changed through the course of your life. You've matured, you've changed.
And I've never hurt
and
nobody.
you've made mistakes back then, man. And that's just a fact of
And I would
life.
never hurt nobody. I would never hurt nobody. You've
never hurt anybody in your life?
Gun, blah, blah.
You've never hurt anybody in your life.
No.
You seem like you have a really hard time taking accountability for your actions.
Well,
You don't take accountability for your DUI. It was a dog that got loose. There was other people that started the drunken
I got the
disorderly.
DUI.
It was Wanda that was fault for the making up lies about your divorce. You don't want to accept responsibility. Is there anything that you're going to take responsibility for?
Not no murder.
You take responsibility for drunken disorderly arrest at Pleasure Island? No. Somebody else's fault.
I got in a fight. The officer said, "Hey, I identified myself."
Right.
But you kind of hear nothing over the music there. I didn't know it was an officer grabbing me.
And Wanda made up lies on you.
And
So that's not your fault either.
She's been living. So
your DUI wasn't your fault because it was a dog that was.
I'm sure. I had a few drinks. So like I said,
If that dog hadn't got out, you'd be fine. You wouldn't have got that DUI, right?
Problem.
It's probably like there's nothing that we've talked about of any significance in this room that you've been willing to accept responsibility for. So this is no different.
It's not like we just got you down here on a hunch. We met you and we said, Kenneth, we need to go talk. You really have no evidence on you, but we're going to make shit up. We're going to ruse you. We're going to try to lie to you to get. We don't need any of that. Nothing changes today if you tell us or don't tell us.
Tell me.
Yeah,
I'm
nothing
under arrest.
changes.
I'm under arrest.
But that's the thing. You can't.
I can't.
But you cannot drag your family down this
I don't want
black hole of.
That's the last thing I would want.
I know. So what's stopping you from telling us what happened? You
I didn't do
remember seeing your mom
I didn't do it.
February 3rd of '96. You remember exactly what you did that
Only
morning.
because
And I promise you know exactly what you were wearing because
Only
it's
because-
a significant part of your life. You need to get to a place, and you really need to do some soul searching, man, and just say, I've been living with this for so long.
I haven't been.
I just wanna-
This is the first I've heard of how bad gruesome.
When
it
I first
was.
showed you those pictures, Kenneth, you were shaking. You were crazy. You didn't want to look at them.
If you're telling me I did it, yeah, I guess any man alive would see those pictures and shake. I didn't do it. I don't. I can't explain it.
You're just not going to accept responsibility for this or really anything. It's always somebody else's
Hey, I
fault.
got a DUI. I got arrested for domestic violence, but
Not
she
your
knows.
fault. Yeah, not your fault.
I told her, "Go, your mom." She told me I was holding her captive in the house. That wasn't the case.
Then
By now, it's clear to investigators Ken is not a stand-up guy. He refuses to take responsibility for anything in his life, so it's no surprise he refuses to cop to a brutal murder.
You know what's so funny too is when I first showed you these pictures, you didn't say that. So it's not like, man, I remember that murder. I was actually seeing my mom that day, and I'll never forget it.
Well,
But it was on the
after you guys
news.
keep going back in time.
No, because you know what happens? psychologically what happens is when you tell a lie, you're always trying to, you got to tell 5 more to cover up the first one you told. So as time goes on, as the past couple hours, however long we've been talking, you're trying to cover it up, XYZ. But when I showed you the picture, and I believe the very first picture I showed you was the picture of, no, not of him. In fact, it was when you made reference to the little champ, and I showed you this double picture. I'll find it here. I got
On the outside.
of the outside, and I was showing you, and I folded it just like this because I really didn't want you to see the crime scene, man. And I showed you this picture. I asked you, was this a little champ? And you said, yeah. And then I showed you Terry, but you never stopped me and said, you know what, man? I know what you're talking about, detective. I lived there, and I saw my mom that day.
I lived there.
No, but you didn't put all the pieces together. You know why?
I didn't know.
No.
His name was
You
Terry.
were trying to find out what we knew, and that's what
Apparently you have
that's what I would
everything.
do too. But now looking back on it, now in a span of a couple hours, we're able to make you remember.
Yeah.
One specific day.
Timelines and everything else.
No. We're able to make you remember one specific day in '96. Crazy, because you know what? You could force me to remember specific incidents of me in '96. Because my dad had just retired in the military and we had just moved down here and I started school down here, right? But be damned if you're able to convince me of a specific day in '96. You can't do it. You can't do it.
But I
But
remember the
You remember
store
this
getting robbed.
specific-
I remember the store getting robbed. And I
Then
remember,
why don't you tell me
I-
this?
I
You're
didn't-
speaking to 2 detectives with an old photograph of Little Champ, and you don't say that.
What? That I knew it was robbed?
And then I show you a picture of the store clerk, and you never once stop me and tell me that, I remember that day.
I said he was
No.
familiar. I don't remember the
You don't
day. When I
remember.
go back to the timeline, I remember I worked for Worldwide Dedicated.
Because you know
That's
what
where
you're
I got
trying to do.
hurt
You're
at.
trying to give us as much information as you can without telling us what you did.
I don't need to tell you nothing. Apparently, you got what you need to do whatever you're going to do with me.
That's you're not wrong there. I don't need you to say
I
anything.
know, yeah.
I don't, because I
But I didn't do it. And I mean, you can go.
And I know we're getting kind of loud. I don't mean to yell at you. I don't mean any disrespect. It's just I want you to get to a place. Me too. Because I want you to get to a place where you can just leave this here, man. When we walk out this door, I want you to be able to leave this shit here. Just leave it. You've been living it with this long, and let's just be done with it. Because it's a, you know what?
There's nothing for me to leave, though. I wouldn't. I didn't do it. I did not kill nobody. I didn't kill nobody for any reason at all. I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
All right, well, we'll regroup our things, man. Let me ask you this. Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear, affirm, or promise everything you told us in this interview today was true and correct?
Yes, sir.
So help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, man, we're going to gather our stuff. Just give us a minute, all right? Well, you need some more water or something? I'm sure you might have to use the bathroom in the next.
Despite his adamant denials and the decades that had passed, there was no chance Ken would get away with his crimes. In the end, Kenneth Robert Stowe was charged with first-degree murder. He was found guilty after a 5-day trial and sentenced to life in prison. But justice delayed is justice denied, and the friends and family of Terrence Paquette now know how tragically true that is.
Thank you for watching today's video. Whether you're new here or have been with us for a while, check out one of the craziest cases I've ever covered right here, or one of my newest uploads right here.